Welcome to Showmance, the #1 show on YouTube doing deep dives on shows with no depth. And tonight we are covering episode 13? 14 of The Valley. They are still in Mexico.
This is a trip from hell.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, I think it's just a lunch from hell, and then I went through all the other. No, this is a trip from hell.
Zach, though, is such a G. I don't know. I'm sorry. That kid took a licking and kept on ticking.
Yeah, how does who are the people that if they left, like this would just be a nothing of a nothing? Zach. Definitely is the #1.
He's the #1 guy in the group.
Yeah, and then who for the girls? Lacey.
Wait, are you talking about people if they left the show?
Yeah, like that.
I mean, I hate to say it.
This show is joyless.
Danny,
right now.
if
Yeah.
Danny, Nia, and Zach left the show, what do you got?
Well,
Oh, I thought you meant, okay, sorry.
I just mean like who's bringing me sunshine to watch this? Like there is not many likable people on this show that are doing much.
Wait, I thought you liked all the unlikables.
I'm just not enjoying where they're going. Like this whole
Same.
ride. I cannot believe that we are 14 episodes in. Like I haven't been here for the last two or three episodes.
Welcome
I haven't
back.
been here for a minute.
Oh yeah.
I feel like as a kid growing up, like, if you don't eat your greens, like you don't get your dessert. Like I want to tell these kids, like, if you don't have a story, you don't get to be on a TV show. Like there's nothing happening on here. Like these kids need to get a life because we are just stuck in stupid land.
So what do they do? What do any of these people do? I'm not being.
Lala
I'm like,
has a podcast and a makeup line. Tom, I think, is trying to like rebuild his life. I don't know if he still has a podcast, but he doesn't have his bars.
Yeah, he's got his
still got his
podcast, and he still
podcast.
has his bars. They
So we
just
got 2 podcasts.
there's
No.
one bar,
Well, they're trying to sell Tom.
right? But I mean, like it's
But,
still
yeah.
going, especially during the show.
Yeah.
And I was looking for office like space
Michelle.
the other day and went across. Is it Pump is next door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pump and Tom Tom are for sale, and I was like, don't put this in, but obviously, like, I mean, if I just was like, could you imagine if we could put
Do a podcast
put
from
Showman, not a podcast, put Showmance
Yeah.
in Pump and Tom Tom, like buy it and take it over and turn it into a Bravo
It's like the
reality
mothership
recap?
calling us
Yeah.
home.
Holy Christ Almighty!
All of our people would be there being like, Carl is gay.
Yeah, you could put the audience in there. You keep all the booths, and people could come watch live shows. It would
Yes.
be the sickest thing in the whole world. It's probably
Why wouldn't I keep
$50
this
million.
in?
I don't know.
Oh.
Because people will be like, yeah, do it. And I don't really want to do it.
Oh, I do. I'd love to be there.
Cool. You can pay for all the shit that gets stolen 3 times a year.
No, West Hollywood is a very safe neighborhood.
Okay.
Listen, they don't have anything going on, so we're stuck following this same thing, and I don't nothing. I love this show. I love this show.
I know I don't like being so negative about it, but I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Why, did I ever leave Ohio?
I want to know if Lala is going to actually like show her dating life after this season.
Show anything about her life.
Yeah.
It's not interesting and I like Lala.
Yeah.
But it's not interesting to watch her be a conduit for story. I give her her own storyline. And I understand she's new and this is her first season here, but that's boring. I have enjoyed seeing the Michelle and Jesse evolution and the fact that they're getting along much better now. That has been lovely.
Yeah.
Being pleasantly surprised by Lacey has totally been lovely because I
Yeah.
really was not here for her in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I love Zach. I'm in and out with Jasmine. Like sometimes I get her so much and then sometimes I get confused by her. I want to see more of her wife, but her wife's or fiance, but now wife seems super shy and maybe she doesn't want to be on the show.
Listen, if we haven't seen her by now, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say boring. She
Yeah.
must not have anything to bring because she's in all the episode now, but like
Yeah.
says nothing. So like,
But then once in the blue moon, she'll rip a little zinger where you're like, I feel like you're a funny person.
I could
But
win.
I couldn't
remember.
even tell you, but
Yeah.
I feel like I've had these moments where I'm like, more, can you say more stuff? That seemed
Yeah.
funny. Or it seemed like something a funny person would say. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it might not have been a joke, but she said a thing
There
that
was
I
wit
was
there.
like, yeah, like it was witty and like, yeah, there was some comedic substance to me.
Yeah.
But I think she's probably just camera shy and not not really like she wants to be on a vacation and at a dinner and at like as a thing, but like not on camera. I think the difference between this show and the Valley Persian style is the show is about couples, right? Married couples
Yeah.
dealing with marriage and kids. That is the premise of the show. Growing up, adulting, whatever you want to call it. Which we don't have a lot of shows like that. There's the Housewives, but that's not really about adulting. That's about fucking
Yeah.
Living
being
it up.
rich and like you graduated adulting and now you're fucking rich. You made it.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna watch which is another form of fantasy fulfillment. But the couples on Persian style, like I get that some of them didn't like each other, but they seemed like a group of friends. Obviously, they were a community. Like there was a group there. And here it doesn't seem like these people are friends anymore. If they are, it's a fractured community.
Yeah.
So like it's a little bit like what was happening within the city. I'm like, I don't feel fly on the wall anymore. I feel like the same storyline is going because there is nothing going on in your lives. Jason has a job. I don't know what Janet does. There's two podcasters. What is Brittany? Brittany's
I think they're all
Influencer.
just influencers.
So, a
pretty
surgeon-
Michelle
much.
still does
Like-
real estate.
Oh, that's true.
plastic
yeah.
surgery influencer now is
Yeah.
what Brittany is. Michelle does real estate. Jesse does Lacey. Lacey does a ton of shit, right?
All I want to see is Lacey full time.
Yeah. Listen, halfway through, I don't want spoilers. I'm like, okay, Lacey, it's yours. The show's yours. Take
Yeah.
over. I'm ready. I'm done. I surrender to Lacey.
Yeah.
Who else is on this freaking show? Zach. Does Zach have a job?
I maybe not this season, but
That's
in
all I
seasons
need
past,
right there is because I did the same.
Yeah.
Benji probably has a cool job.
He's a
He seems like
doctor.
he's a what?
He's a doctor.
For fuck's sake. What?
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think I
cool.
thought he was a dentist.
But
like
that's a doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, you have to go to medical school and you have to do an internship. Or not an internship.
doctor. So like, I don't know. I don't really know what these people have going on in their outside lives other than being paid at this point
Yeah.
to be friends for a TV show, right? And so there you can't tell a story. That's not a story.
No.
It's a story. It's not an interesting one.
Correct.
It's not one where you would go, Courtney, I know you got a big time network. I wanted you to hear my pitch. I got a group of people. They don't like each other. They're kind of split. One guy might be a creepy essay guy. They all drink way too much and they hate each other. Did I mention that? We're going to pay them to hang out and do some scenes. Sound like a good idea that you'd want to be interested in?
We're funding as we speak.
Oh, f***ing great. LA is the dream town where dreams are made. You'd go out of business real quick if you funded that show because that's what this is. It's so ridiculous.
I'm not so worried that listen, there definitely are people that aren't friends, clearly. But I had a moment where I got more like, oh, no, that would actually be more ideal than what I'm kind of noticing is that I think you guys are friends. And this is how you do friendship.
Oh, well.
Like to see Jesse and Nia and what's her name? Janet, all at a certain point when they're on the beach and everyone's skinny dipping, but the way they're talking to each other is like nothing just happened 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like that Janet didn't just storm off in like almost like a half panic attack and like call and talk to a producer and ask to be off camera. And then like now they're here and just saying,
Well, there was a moment with Melissa with Danny and Nia at the club where Nia was like, "Oh, they're making everyone's uncomfortable." But Michelle was with them, or Melissa was with the treat. That was like Danny, Nia, and Michelle.
Yeah.
The whole time, and I'm like, I don't understand. Isn't this the like? And I get it. Michelle and Melissa have freaking.
Nia?
What the shit is what's her face's name?
Jasmine,
Which one?
Nia,
Jasmine.
Michelle. What the
Like
shit
I
is
get
what's her
it that
shit's-
Jasmine and Melissa have forgiven Danny or whatever, but it's weird that Jasmine is this whole huge thing is going on and Jasmine is hanging out with the two people.
Danny and Nia were at their wedding. we're at Jasmine and Melissa's
No, I
wedding in
understand.
New Jersey.
Right, but I don't understand then why isn't Jasmine, and I get they did it on the bus last year, but why are we 14 episodes in and neither of these two have not been like, you guys, so like are the producers being like, no, you can't tell them to stop talking because we don't have anything else to talk about.
Maybe.
And then to which if I was Jasmine, I would reply, you don't? Because I'm getting fucking married. I'm planning a wedding. These two assholes are trying to build a podcast from scratch. That's pretty interesting. Like,
No, there is something weird that there was.
Producers are getting lazy.
Yeah, and even people in the comments are like, I feel like Danny's in on this joke. I feel like Danny's like playing a little game here, or like saying he doesn't like acting a certain way, knowing he's acting that way, knowing everyone knows about it, and then pretending in a different, like, it's just getting to where if everybody now in the audience is now going, what is really real here? Like, because none of it's even good enough to be like, oh, I would get in on that little game as well. It's that good. But it's not any good. Like, I don't like Jasmine. Like, Jasmine has sealed her fate with me a bit for this season. Like, I've watched this bitch ping pong back and forth so many times on where she's at with all these people, and I feel like Janet got her second win to bring all this back up again, or be a part of how it all came back up again after Jasmine went and got pissed at Kristen a few episodes back about, no one's listening to me. Everyone's asking Nia if she's triggered or if she's okay or how this is affecting her, but I'm the one that happened to it, or she's not. Her fiance is, or now wife. And then has that great lunch with Kristen. Seems like it's all wrapped up. Bob's your uncle. Everyone's good. And then only to find her closing out the episode, going over there and being like, I think I was a little too hard on you guys. You guys were really on my side. And now it seems like that didn't really happen again. She's now back with, I had such a healing conversation with Danny today. And then yelling about Kristen hanging out with Nia again, back at the hotel. Like,
I'm lost in the sauce as well. And I think,
like, what are you doing, Jasmine? Pick a team, or like make it your team and make people fall. But like, this doesn't work for me. I don't like any of this. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Top of the pops. We are back at lunch with Michelle, Jesse, Janet, Nia, Tom, and Kristen. This is the lunch from hell. Janet has just gotten up from the table. She is now calling Jason, saying, I feel really overwhelmed. Nia says she's crying from self-induced things. Like, she brought this on herself. Back to Janet on the phone with Jason, saying it's bringing up a lot of unresolved feelings about stuff that I can't say. Tom comes out to soothe her. She doesn't even care, doesn't even acknowledge him. Did you clock that?
Well, I thought that she did, because I thought she actually kind of put his arm on her and she went like that to him. I didn't notice that. Then I thought she did.
Maybe I felt like anytime he was like trying to say something or like be there for her, she just, and also look, I'm looking at Janet.
Oh, I feel like I know where you're going with that though. Okay, go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I think she wanted to get out her bit, the setup, which we know she's probably going to come out with at some point.
Yeah. So I felt was like on her track, on her, in her train, on her track, and Tom could have not even been there, but he was trying to calm her or be there for her. I guess and I don't know, maybe this is an overarching thing. I feel like Janet gets consumed with Janet. Yeah. So what she's trying to do, the point that she's trying to land, where she's trying to go with this, she has a one-track mind with that, and so she can't. I said it last episode. She just seems immovable to me.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to acknowledge Tom coming over to help her. She doesn't really want to calm down. She wants this issue to be brought up or brought to light for whatever reason. Yeah. I don't know, but I find her inability to stay in the room and just say, look, once and for all, let's squash it, let's whatever, because every time they start talking about anything very sensitive to her, she leaves.
I didn't even notice that until they kind of did the montage of it, and I was like, oh, she does.
Wait, they talk about it all the time.
Cut and run. Like, I knew that Nia said that, but she has done it to other people that I didn't realize. Like, I thought it was a Nia thing, but she...
Oh, no, it is a writ large thing.
She just kind of runs for the hills. But which is funny because I feel like she really prides herself on being like, just say what you got to say. Like she's very like kind of, what is it when dudes always get the worst of this when they take up space, like they're just kind of like,
Yeah.
that's how she kind of is. Like, so, I mean, we're both adults here. Just say what you got. And then, but she actually isn't like that at all.
Yeah.
She actually cuts and runs every single time.
I think she is till she isn't, right? Like
Yeah.
when she's feeling in control and comfortable, she'll be there, take up space, say what she's got to say.
Yeah.
And then when it gets, I think, overwhelming for her, for whatever reason, she cuts bait.
Yeah.
Has Janet attacked, I'm air quoting for those of you listening, attacked anyone other than Danny? Like, has she gone after anyone else
Yeah.
Historically
Kristen and Zach.
or this season?
historically?
Kristen and Zach are just two off the top of my head. There's probably more.
What was that? What happened with Kristen and Zach?
She didn't invite them on the group trip.
I mean, listen,
Season
Zach
1.
said he wanted her unborn child to die.
That was
That was
before that.
season 2. That was before that.
So what happened? How come? I can't remember. So what happened? Why didn't she invite them on their honeymoon thing?
Because she wanted like a peaceful baby moon, and she thought that they weren't going to be going to give that to her.
Was
They
there a
thought, she thought
reason,
they were
I
gonna
guess?
make a
I need to
problem.
rephrase that. Was there a reason, or was it just Janet being a dick?
No, I'm sure she had a reason. I don't remember it though.
There's a reason on every single one of these shows to not invite half of the cast on every single one of these shows, but they don't do it because they're here
Yeah.
working for a living. And that was a season 1 thing. And your you're new. We don't even fucking know you. And you're getting like that season 1 trip is on you because it's your baby moon or whatever. And like, you think I don't know who the you are for you to think that like you cannot invite Kristen. This is Kristen's show, you dumbass. Like that to me was just like out of the gates, like you are playing like you are like you've been here for a minute and you haven't. You're a fan, and now you're calling shots, and it was pretty much that was it for me from the beginning. I was like, you don't know how this works. I don't think.
Yeah. I listen. She did from jump get started off on the wrong foot
Yeah.
with me, and I think most of the viewers. And I guess I just haven't necessarily seen a big amount of change in her for me to think
Hell
any
no.
differently. And it makes me feel as though she's hiding certain parts of herself, but she hasn't changed, because I think anytime her back is against the wall, she says stuff like, I don't even care. I don't even want to be her friend. Or when you remember in the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
or when she storms off the bus being like, I'm not sorry for what, like, I'm sorry it hurt your feelings. I'm not sorry for what I said. She's not sorry. And I guess I would just have more respect and understanding for where she's coming from if she just didn't try to play the pearl clutching,
Yeah.
high and mighty, has to be right kind
Yeah.
of chick.
I personally would just like this production company or this showrunner or whoever the is making these decisions to just look at this season, look back, and like, I get that nothing was happening, but like sometimes, because we've heard people talk about it before, like sometimes you're just grateful that someone else is in a ruckus over here because it just means that you don't have to do anything. If that little stupid ruckus wasn't going on, you would be more like on like alert that you got to show up today and something has to happen. I think right now it feels like everyone knows that if Danny's showing up and if Danny and Nia showing up and Janet is, it's baked in. Like I'm just going to probably get a massage and I'm going to try to schedule a pedicure while I'm here. Like they're not thinking that they have to be like eye on the prize. Like they got to be on the ball to do anything. I would just say, think about what it would be like if Janet were not on this show anymore. Because Danny and Nia are a full-on operation. They're going to have more going on. Their lives are going to show you more. They're going to have more jobs. There's going to be more fights. There's going to be more kids. There's going to be house things. Where are we living? Whatever. There's more room for other, like it's like what I was talking about with Summer House. That I always say that the one summer that Kyle and Amanda really were doing great is when everybody else's lives were falling apart, because now like they don't have to deal with their own shit when there's all this shit going on. if Danny and Nia, if the world really wants to hate them, I feel like everyone is so set out to exposing them for the fraudsters that they are and whatever. I don't agree, but a mass majority is I feel is on that boat. Let the distraction go. Janet is holding up the real story from happening because they're not friends with her. And like, I'm even seeing Michelle act in a whole new way. Like there's more to Michelle. Like
Totally.
Let's weed out like the shit that's just like almost like a page holder or like this person that's just there to cause something because no one's enjoying this. There's story to be had with these people. Let them make it.
You know what was it a record or a CD or something when it would just get caught on a loop?
Yeah.
You know, and you just kept hearing the same
record players.
Babe,
yeah.
did you? Babe, did you?
Yeah.
Babe, did you? I feel like we are the record stuck.
Yeah.
And listen, Janet might have lots of other colors to her, but she's doing herself, the producers are doing her no favor
Exactly.
by keeping this storyline going. And quite frankly, I'm fatigued from talking about her and this. And she hasn't done anything to win me over. And the only reason I say that is because it's a TV show. You know, these characters, you're going to like some, you're not going to like others. And because you have some historic knowledge of who they are on this show, I'm going to give more allowances to the people that have made me laugh, that I do think are a little bit more relatable to me and my life. And by the way, I said this earlier, I started off the season really not liking Lacey, thinking that, you know, we were going to be vastly disappointed with who this person is. I got that completely wrong. I'm enjoying her. She's given me some lulls. I'm interested to see more of her.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm unwilling to change my mind about someone, but I need to see some change. Lacey came in with a really bad backstory, but has proven to, at least this season, have really great communication skills. She takes the temperature down on arguments, and I think she communicates in them really well. Yeah. And she's funny.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of this from Janet in 3 seasons.
Truly nothing.
I keep going after the same thing with her, which I'm exhausted from, because that's what I've been served.
Yeah. What you were saying about the record was actually a great kind of metaphor for this, because every time I see that record thing, it's obviously from movies like from the 80s, you know, and it's always like after a party, the house is thrashed and that thing is going and done and done and done. And it takes somebody waking up and like coming out with our groggy and they're looking around and they're stepping on beer cans and a chick that fell asleep on the floor's passed out, you know, and it takes someone waking up to realize, oh, this record is stuck. This cast is asleep right now in all the ways that make a TV show. Yeah. And people might, their first reaction to me saying this might be like, well, why should she have to go? Why shouldn't he have to go? It's just, I'm sorry, it's the value system. Like, I don't make the rules on like who's entertaining, who has more story to offer, who is going to draw more eyes, whatever. Like, Janet has nothing for me. And maybe she has something for you. So I'm not, everyone might feel differently about this just because they think that she's going to have an interesting story. I just think that if you're just putting them both on paper, this family is going to have more to bring to the table than she is, and she's in the way of all of that happening. Everyone will wake up and get to work if you let this person exit. It's just like how some people like, oh, we're having a sleepover with our, 5th graders. My daughter really likes this girl, but this girl, it's going to be a kind of a gnarly sleepover. It's probably some moms are going to get called and have to pick them up in the middle of the night. Like, I'd rather just avoid that. Like, sometimes you just go with the easier route to like where you're trying to get. And so if somebody has to like not be around or just be a friend of, because she's clearly friends with half this cast. So we talk about sometimes like nobody's friends here. She's clearly friends with some of these people, but she is becoming the reason for the season for them, when like I know Brittany's got more in her.
The same.
Clearly Michelle does. We watched it this episode.
Oh my God, like, Michelle was like a different person this episode.
Yeah, I've never met this Michelle before.
And I like this Michelle.
Yes.
I remember last year I was explaining what this term that I made up called a jury duty friendship. Yeah. And it's basically, for those of you who are new to this channel, it's those friends that everyone has had. Hopefully you don't have them now because they're a real bummer. That you know you have to tick certain boxes with them or you're going to get a bench warrant, right? Like they are going to just ride you. They're going to be annoyed with you because you haven't shown up in the way that they want you to show up, or you came, but you only spent an hour and a half and I really need you to stay 2 hours. And it's like, I'm tired. I have work. And by the way, with any, like I said it to one of my girlfriends was getting married abroad, and one of her guests that she had to invite for whatever the reasons is just kind of a little annoying and a little needy. And she had called her and said, hey, where can I get my hair done? And she called me and she was like, how annoying that she asked this. Like, it's my wedding. Google it, figure it out. And I go, yeah, but didn't your other friend that you really love call and ask you the same thing? And you said, just come over to my room and get it done with me. And she's like, you're right. And I go, right. Because it's not the question they're asking. It's the person who's asking it. And because she's a jury duty friend, that it's never enough. Everything bothers you, right? Because you, as my best friend, could be saying the same shit and it's never going to bother me because you don't do that, right? And I find Janet to be that kind of friend. And I find it is in everything she does. There's never just like when they were going out and looking in that lingerie store and she makes that jab towards Jesse of like, oh, I think this isn't the first time he's dressed up. It's none of it's funny. I never get a reprieve from the jury dutyness. Everything just seems like that, you know, as an actor, they tell you can't always just end on a down note. Sometimes you got to leave with a little sparkle in the air, like, see you later. It can't just be like, see you later. Okay. Then you're that Daria character. You remember from MTV that was always just want. And that she's a Daria where everything is so... There's just no levity. There's no
I know.
fun.
Daria was way cooler than Janet.
Way cooler. Sorry, Daria.
Because she was so authentically herself. You know, there was no getting around it. And it does seem like Janet's waking up every day with like how am I going to ruin the vacation for everyone?
Yes, and her husband's the same way. Neither one of the, like the fact that he came up the stairs with the crutches, complaining about getting up the stairs, got there, was there for all of, maybe with editing, like let's take the editing out of it, 20 minutes. And then he turned around and left just so he could be like, I checked that box because they're filming and I want to make sure I'm showing up to things. It's like, where is the joy in these two? I just don't get it from any angle.
No. Okay. Just to go back to that top part where she, you know, storms off and then Tom Schwartz, even though Tom has says Tom, this is just, Tom's a nice guy. Tom doesn't want anyone to feel bad or be crying or be off by themselves. But he's very clear that she's freaking out over something that she brought onto herself. Tom's not mincing words about that, but he's still going to get up and go to the crying girl over in the corner. But what's funny, Tom, is that Janet actually didn't want that. Janet had this whole where she's like, I can't keep having this same conversation about not noticing. I feel like Janet brings a new component into I can't keep having this conversation about this thing. This thing is it's either the drinking or it's the essay or it's it's what she's apologizing for. I can't apologize for what he did. Nobody asked you to apologize for what he did. You're literally making this up in your head. That's not something anyone has ever asked you to apologize for. And we've had this moment with you 15 times now where people have said to you, that's actually nobody said that. Now she's trying to say about not noticing it. That's a new factor into her sentence now. She's added that today because I think that she is setting us up to tell us that she was essayed. And as if she's been holding on to that this whole time. And now you guys are all going to feel really shitty about why I've made this what it is, because this thing happened to me. And it's this is going to be such a bummer because I'm going to be stuck in between a rock and a hard spot. She's cornered me because there's nothing I can say that's okay, well, if that happened to you, nothing I can say to that's going to be well received by anyone. The problem is I don't trust you, Janet. You've built no relationship with me and no track record. That I'm going to not, my mind is first going to go to, well, how convenient that now on episode 14, after 2 seasons of this now you want to bring this thing up. And maybe something horrible happened to her. I have no idea, but I can't even receive it in a way that I would from literally anyone else on this show because of just the way that she has has acted with everything, how she's made every story that she gets, she makes it into something much bigger on so many different stories. Even just like her talking about, oh, he thinks that my husband is a cuck. He called my husband a cuck or liked us something about, only to then go on and tell us in the same episode that like you're bisexual and that your husband would be cool if you were like hooking up. Like, I'm pretty, like, listen, I should have obviously looked this up before here I am, and it's too late now. Cameras are rolling. But I'm pretty sure that, like, the original definition of cuckolding is like that, like, you're just like, you know that your wife is cheating on you, or you know that
You
your
like
wife's,
to watch your
that's
partner
what
have
I thought
sex
that it
with-
was. I don't think that that's like, this is an old term that's been around forever. That like,
It's a dude who can't perform who likes to watch another man perform on his wife.
Oh,
that's
it's
not the original definition though. Like this cuckolding was a word that was used like, and not like a thing like, you know, like it didn't used to be like, this is a new thing that we've done to it. But it was about, I think the original definition, and we can look it up now.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up because I thought it was just a guy who liked to watch his partner
think
have
what
sex with someone else.
That's what I think it's turned into.
Cuckolding is a term with both historical and modern meanings. Natalie, you are correct. Currently used primarily as a description for a consensual sexual fetish or relationship dynamic. Here's how the term is defined and used. Sexual fetish and relationship dynamic. In modern context, cuckolding is a form of consensual non-monogamy. It refers to a dynamic where a partner, usually a husband, derives sexual arousal and pleasure from watching his romantic partner engage in sexual activity with someone else. The other individual is often referred to as the bull. Historical definition, traditionally cuckold, the noun, and cuckold, the verb, refer to a man whose wife was unfaithful to him, often without his knowledge. The term originates from the cuckoo bird, known for laying its eggs in nests of other birds. So that's the historical meaning.
Yeah. So if we're going by this modern day, is that it's a dude who is gonna watch his wife with someone. That's what Janet, like, she's just contradicting herself. Like, she's gonna, first of all, I can't believe that neither, like, this is why I haven't been here, or you would have known this already. I can't believe you guys didn't call Janet out for being such a queer bait. Like when she was talking to Zach and saying, well, you know, I'm bisexual. So, and then he's like, what? And then like, yeah, I mean, and he's like, so if I found you, and she's trying to talk to him about, you've got this open relationship. You've not earned anything for, like, if Zach were to divulge anything to you, Janet, Zach would be an idiot, and he's not an idiot. So first I thought that was weird, but the way that she went in and tried to connect with Zach by reminding him that she's bisexual, and then for him to say, so if Jason was with another guy, you would be into that? I would love that. If he was into that, I would love that. Like, you would love that? Hey, Janet, fuck off. No one would love that unless that's what their relationship kind of started
Unless
as.
you're ethically non-monogamous across the board.
All of that. Yeah. Nobody, I'm sorry, a woman, I'm going to speak for everyone, even though I know I can't speak for everyone, but I think I can speak for a very generally large population of women that like, no, that is not something that we would love if our husbands came to us one day and said, I would like to be with another man.
No, I don't need another group of people to compete with for my husband. Like,
exactly.
Keep it between me and the ladies.
Yeah. Like, it's one thing for it to be a woman. Yeah, that's a whole problem all on its own, and nobody's into that unless you're poly, unless that's what your relationship is built on. I'm not talking shit on this. I'm just saying, for these two people who I know to be the most vanilla, like they are the blandest bland bananas, and I like bananas, but not this banana. This couple is not into this. I'm sorry, they're not into it. He might get off on the idea of her hooking up with another chick in front of him, but if that is the case, which is very, very likely what she is trying to say here and what the case would be if she's telling the truth, then you're a cuck, Jason.
But also the historical meaning is someone who cheats on their partner.
Yeah.
They said Jason cheated on Janet. So they also could have just been referring to the fact that like you cheat. Like, and this, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So either way, the definition, and I'm not saying that he did cheat. I'm just saying
it's all
murky.
Yeah.
God, Andrea, that really has legs.
Yeah. So you're feigning this like, I can't believe he liked this comment saying that my husband, Clutch My Pearls, wants to watch me. In the same episode, you're literally telling another dude, being a giant queer bait, because I don't even think I think you're just trying to like use something to like get
It was a lot the last 2 episodes. And it's never been there before.
Yeah.
Her talking about how gorgeous Michelle's ass is and all of their breasts being so like, I felt like I was in a Danielle Steele novel all of a sudden when she was talking about that stuff.
And who would want to like, good for you that Michelle is okay with you talking about this. What if Danny was saying that about someone? Like, it's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, just if you're gonna go with a story, then clutch that story and hang on for dear life.
That's a really good point, because I don't live my life this way, okay? Where it's like, no, we can have artistic license, we can have fodder. You can say that, I wouldn't have necessarily deemed what Danny did as SA from what I've heard from all of the, and the reason why is because if Melissa, who it happened to, is not saying that, then I'm going with the quote unquote victim.
Yeah.
That's my basis of my argument, okay?
Yeah.
So by way of that, then I think I do get that license, that freedom to say like, oh yeah, God, no, Lala is smoking. Like, what a banging bod.
Yeah.
Best tits this side of the Mississippi, however I want to speak about it, because we're all in on the joke, right?
Yeah.
We're all playing around with it. But for Janet to be so, put herself down this narrow path of the moral authority on this show, and this is right and this is wrong, and he essayed this person, and how dare nobody understand this, and then to be talking about another person's body, which she's not just your friend in the sense that you find her, you say she's your dream girl, you say you're attracted to women. So now is this violating Michelle? I don't think so, but I also don't live my life the way Janet does. And so she's put herself into this box. And if this is how you're going to live, then maybe you got to live that way everywhere. Unless her and Michelle have some agreement that we haven't been privy to, that you're allowed to sexualize me and I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I would be cool with my friends sexualizing me, but that's also because I'm a jocular free spirit.
I know. I was thinking about all this too. Mike, do you want to add anything here before I feel like I'm just kind of going?
You guys hate Janet, and that's fine. You can hate Janet. I don't like Janet. But I think it's crazy to like sit here and not be like, well, shit, did something happen? Is that why Janet's so weird and runs away every time you attack her? That's what I was asking earlier.
I'm always asking questions. Why is someone like this? Like, who do we just figure out something about last week? And I'm like, it doesn't excuse anything. But what were we talking
sorry, that
about?
light just went out. I don't know if that's important.
Oh, why did your backlight go out? Okay, sorry, technical difficulties. We had a light go out.
Okay, so we're still at this lunch 18 hours later. Jesse, after Tom is sitting out there with Janet, Jesse starts just talking about how, she always gets up and she leaves here, she leaves there. That's her thing. And then we go back to Janet. A producer comes over to see how she's doing. And Tom very meekly says, I think it's your harshness. And this is where I wish Tom was a little bit better at communicating, because it would have been interesting to see the scene between Tom and Janet, because I do think Tom has a good heart, and I don't think he would have been there to like rip her a new one.
No.
So I would have just been more interested in them getting somewhere as opposed to her then going off camera with a producer. And of course, if she has something so serious that she needs to talk to off camera, I respect that. But I'm just trying to get the show back on track and have these people have conversations that friends have. Like, one of the best scenes from the Valley Persian style was one of the guys, Amir, I think was his name. His wife passed away of cancer, unfortunately, and they had a medium. And the medium come to do the show when they were in Palm Springs, and the medium was incredible. And she gave him all this really specific information, and it opened up this great conversation that not just him and the other his other cast members had, but him and his wife talked a lot about stuff. And there's this thing that I have a girlfriend who married a guy whose wife passed away really young from cancer. And you forget, because it's such a sad thing, you forget that the person that is the next spouse, do they always feel like they're living in that person's shadow? Do they feel like you may have loved that person more, and because they passed away, I'm the first runner-up, or what? There's a lot there. And so it opened up this beautiful conversation that she got to have with the other cast members and with her husband, and it was fucking great. And we're just so deeply missing that here because everyone is so on the defense and they're coming at each other with big accusations.
Yeah.
And I just think, listen, we watch these shows for the drama,
Yeah.
you know, but at a certain point, we have to take the temperature down. It's been at a fever pitch for 2 seasons now with really heavy stuff. I don't see the laughter. I mean, the most I've laughed this season and was when Zach got clocked in the head with a street light.
Yeah.
Like that's actually a serious thing. It ended up, thank God, being hilarious because he wasn't detrimentally injured. But we're lost in darkness on this show. And we don't come out of it this episode. So the producer comes over. She says, you know, Danny's behavior is triggering and she can't ignore it because she knows how much pain it causes. Of course, SA causes so much pain. I need to hear from Melissa also that, like, then if I'm not questioning that SA causes pain. What I want to dig deeper on is then Melissa, you're on this show. Do you not want to talk about it? I respect if you don't want to talk about it, but do you want to have a conversation about it? Because everyone's talking about this possibly really harmful thing that's going to follow you for the rest of your life. Am I making sense?
No, you're 1,000,000%. I want Andy to ask this at the reunion. I hope that she comes out and sits with them and that Andy says, we've not heard from you.
Yeah.
And just gets to the bottom of your question of how does the person that it happened to feel about all of this? At what point on the timeline was this wash for her? Is she still harboring things? Was it over for her literally after the apology back or the third apology or like whenever it was? Like I would love to get to the bottom of that. And it just, I can't, it's hard for me to believe that Janet is so concerned with how Melissa is doing. And if it's a thing where it's like, oh, well, if she is setting us up to find out,
hey, buddy, I want to pet him, but I don't want to lose my an
you
eyeball.
can. He doesn't have any mermans.
well, I feel like he's probably growing
They're
some back
growing
in a
back.
week. Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been testing it. It's fine.
I've been testing
this
it.
afternoon.
Setting you up. So yeah, and until we know that, then like I have next to impossible. It's next to impossible for me to believe that she's doing this all for the sake of this woman who's been so wronged.
Here's also where Janet, for me, is missing a big opportunity, okay? If there is something from her past that happened, that all of this, whether it's exactly the same thing, whether it just seemed like the same thing, and for whatever reason it triggered her, because I get that you can get triggered from stuff that isn't exactly the same as the trauma that you experienced, then this is a real opportunity for her to talk about something that she went through, that she, you know, and I went to therapy and this is what I learned from it. And now like, here's how it's affected my life, and other people can see themselves in her story. And for people that are listening to this being like, you know, maybe she can't talk about it. I understand that in the real world, you're on a reality TV show, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is someone that maybe isn't in your life anymore. Like you seem to have a wonderful her and her husband do seem to have a great relationship. They do seem to be the lid for one another's pots.
Yeah.
So you have this, hopefully this safe home life, you know, that maybe you can talk about these things, like how Erica Jane recently talked about on Beverly Hills. She's a cast member on Beverly Hills, how she was in a relationship where there was domestic abuse, domestic
you would have
violence.
never in a million years thought that about her.
In a million years.
I would have thought that bitch is going to clock that motherfucker if he comes for her. Like
Totally.
there's no way and like that was huge to let that out.
And it's so brave. And I know you leave yourself open to be very vulnerable. And I could only imagine how scary it is. So I'm not saying that any of this is easy. I'm just saying I don't know. Erica said she just got such a beautiful response, an overwhelmingly beautiful response from people saying like, thank you for sharing this. And, you know, I went through this and I would have never thought someone like you would go through this. And it's just, it can, our darkest secrets or things that we're trying to protect and hide because they hurt us so much can a lot of times be things that help heal other people and help you connect to your friends. You're on a show, the people that are watching. And so I'm not just saying you say it so cavalierly. If that's really the cornerstone of what's going on here, I would love for her to feel safe enough then to express that, because that could move this problem forward.
Not everyone is a healer. Not everyone wants to express their journey and their pain so that someone else can feel better. What if Janet's not doing it for just this one woman? What if this thing happened to Janet and it, in her experience, got swept under the rug and nobody talked about it, and it was don't talk about it. And that's kind of what her trauma is. Like, I don't want to talk. I wanted to talk to you guys about it, but can we talk? I don't. And this is a real thing that happened to this woman. And this is why she acts the way she does. And maybe she's not doing it for this one woman. Maybe this is her doing it for all women and all the women who get their ass grabbed, and like the dudes that are just creepy, and the people that are creepy all day, every day, still to this day. Maybe she doesn't want to share her story. Maybe her way is just to be like, I'm not letting this shit die. They let it die when it happened to me, and I still haven't gotten over it. I'm not and I'm not going to be the one that shuts up about it. You can all off, and I'm not going to apologize about it. That's what I'm starting to see with this. And I'm like, okay, cool, go for it, lady. Like, I think it's wild that, like, I get the whole, like, if you don't like someone, you're not going to tell them to come get your hair done at your wedding person. You're going to send them somewhere else. But to be like, yeah, I think you're lying about sexual assault so that you can get out of this thing that you've done after a couple
We
years.
think she's lying about sexual
She said,
assault.
Natalie's like, I wouldn't trust her. I don't necessarily trust it if this is going to come out. So that's,
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I think that's crazy.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I think this would explain a lot of Janet's behavior.
It could. I think that if Janet got seriously essayed, I don't think that she would call what Danny did essay. That is my gut reflex to when she has gone so hard on this. Let me tell you, this thing that happened to Melissa has happened to me, couldn't count.
I was just gonna say, I don't have fingers, I don't have toes
Yeah.
for the amount of times that someone is inappropriately.
200 million times. Like 99% of them have been guy friends. Like friends, never thought any way about it. The 2 times that it's happened to me that it really, like, I had a bad reaction to it was when one of the cooks at the restaurant in the Palisades that I used to be a server at pulled my skirt up in the back. Yeah, and I was horrified. Like, this is not my friend. We don't even talk. The guy doesn't speak English. So, like, we don't have a rapport that he could have mistaken, we are not. I was friends with the chef, love him. This guy, don't know him from anything. So that happened. That was a nightmare. The other time, I'm at the Rainbow Room at the bar waiting for my drink, and some washed up actor from the Breakfast Club pulls my bra out of the back of my tank top and snaps it. Like, and then to say what the tag is, to see the size of my bra, and announces it to, like, his group of friends. These are the 2 times that, like, I have been, like, felt truly, like, violated. However, I have also been, things have happened to me that, like, I also don't need to share with the world. That is sexual assault. I understand that there's a definition in a dictionary. This could also be an age thing, like a generation thing. Like, I was like looking up, like, how old are the guys, like the people that are, like, all kind of cool, not cool with it, but they're just like, I don't get it. Why are we still, what's happening? They're all 40s and later.
Yeah.
Janet's the young, I didn't realize she's only like 34 or 35 years old. The other guys are like 43, 44, 45. It might be a generational thing. I always, like, I was also just thinking about, like, generations in general. Like, the boomers are like, oh, get over it. Who cares? Gen Xers are like, it happens. It doesn't have to, and it shouldn't. millennials are like, absolutely, no way, not happening. Gen Z is like, well, I can't work like this.
Gen Z's like, what's happening?
Well, they're like, I can't, and then they just don't work. Like there's just like this. I think that a lot of this could stem from just like generational groups of people that have been. SA could mean something very different to someone else. Janet is, she's in this triggered nation, and I think she's going to go with it. Whether she's got the shit to back it up, I don't know. We shall see. Like, I don't know. I'm waiting to hear her story if she wants to bring it out. She doesn't have to. I'm not going to. I've moved on with my life, I think it's very sort of ignorant for her to not understand how people would not be cool with her calling grab ass, go get daddy a drinky, daddy needs a drinky, into it's not okay, it shouldn't happen, it shouldn't. There are very different things, like it's
a spectrum, I think
she
is what you're saying.
She chose to use a word that I think could be triggering a hell of a lot more people than in a real way.
100%. And in the same way that you're like, oh, I don't necessarily trust her, so I'm kind of side-eyeing this whole thing. At the time, you would be like, lady, that's a gnarly thing to say. And at the time when the story came out, you're like, Danny said, hey, go get dad. Like, Danny's a cheesy, dumb dick. Like, that's it. But now I'm kind of like, dang, was that cheesy Disney Danny? Or is Danny a fucking creep? Because Danny seems like a creep.
Does he?
Oh my God, dude. Did you finish this episode?
This is another thing. We have to divide this. There's the drinking.
Sure, but
there's the talking to his wife.
But
and
I
then there's
thought
this one isolated incident.
This isolated incident at the end of this episode was the cherry on my cake. I've been saying this for multiple episodes that I'm like side-eyeing this dude. He's not like, there's a reason everyone keeps calling this dude out. And you said earlier, everyone's calling out each other and doing this thing. I don't know if they are. They're calling out Janet for calling out Danny. That's the only thing that's happening. It's how we started this show. Nothing's happening except this one storyline. So there's not everyone calling out and picking out. There's one thing. There's a lady who said a thing that this dude did. She definitely said it aggressively. Like, listen, I'm not going to sit here and be like, Janet, you just get overboard. No pun intended. That being said, maybe something happened. Maybe Janet is... I don't think Janet is, I'm starting to believe that Janet is not so offended by this thing that Danny did or by Melissa and her feelings or how she feels about it. I think that her trigger and her upset, her emotions are coming from the people being like, Janet, that was it's just, it's fine. He's fine. They're sweeping it under the rug. They're just being like, let's move on. That's what's getting her upset, because probably that's might have been what happened to her when she was like, hey, this thing happened. And maybe everybody was like, just don't worry about it. It's not Janet. That's not a thing. You were drunk. And they made her sweep it under the rug. So now she sees it getting swept under the rug and she's flipping out and going, no. And literally having a reaction. That seems super normal. And then Danny being creepy and weird, and the way he talks to Nia, and how he laughs at everybody who says anything about him is making me start to rethink that little grab ass wasn't might not have been a mistake. It might have been an old school, which we said in the beginning. I'm like, this guy's from Hollywood, and a time when the hashtag Me Too, I think, was born out of Hollywood. These dudes were creepy. That was their thing. And now I'm starting to see, like, dang, maybe there's a reason everyone keeps picking on this dude. And it's because he's a creeper.
Two things about that. One, I'm on no level trying to say, oh my God, if you were SA, just share. Everyone's so understanding. I'm looking at it from a point of view of, one, you chose to be on a show and open up your life. So that's an interesting thing that you did. If that's a choice that you made for your job, then it doesn't mean that we get a license to every single morsel of your life. However, I think then if you're going to be going down a road that is so specific to you because this happened to you on some level, you need to be open enough to, you don't have to tell us what happened. You don't have to say who did it, when it happened, but just say, this is something that's deeply affected my life and it's triggering for me, so that we all know. Like you can't get mad at someone for serving you peanuts and you eating it and them being like, you almost killed me. I didn't know you had an allergy, babe. If I did, I wouldn't.
That's a horrible analogy. She didn't eat anything. This thing happened in her friend group.
I understand, but she has now been triggered by it and she talks about it a lot. And last season, she was the driving force behind not letting it go and naming it specifically SA. And if that's what she wants to do, because that's what genuinely feels the right thing to her, because this happened to her and she doesn't want to let this happen again.
You just think she should explain it and tell everyone why?
No, I just said not explain it and tell everyone why. I said there's a missed opportunity if she wants to go down that road. But if that's not for her, she doesn't have to say who, when, how it happened, but just say, this triggers me because I have experienced something in the vein of this. And that's why I can't let it go. The same way Lala went up to, but that's not saying it was my uncle.
No, I'm not saying she has to explain it in detail, but she has to tell them why it's triggering her. That's what you're saying.
I mean, she's never even said before that it does.
It doesn't matter. You're saying
her.
that she needs to. You would appreciate it if
thank you. I would appreciate if she could give us some clarity as to why I think I've given clarity on why West is so triggering to me, because I've experienced guys like him, and now we know this is why I'm crying, because yeah, it does strike a nerve. It does hit home with me. And I'm not saying that she has to say it was this person in a locker room, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying it would be helpful for her to just say, I've experienced something in this SA world and I need to back away from this. Then I would understand why she was leaving the table. And I know that that's a really vulnerable place for her to put herself, but she also put herself on a reality TV show. So I can't really separate the two. Like, if you are getting paid to share your life, if this thing happens, am I being such an asshole by thinking this?
No,
maybe. Someone will tell me.
I think that like what Janet can do, because if you've ever listened to Janet in a podcast, like there was a Nick Viall episode that I caught her on however long ago, that for the first 30 minutes, I was like, oh shit, she's so different. Now, she ended up burying herself by the end of it, because they always do. But like, I had a moment where I'm like, she knows how to speak. She knows how to way more than we've seen her on this show. On this show, it seems like she is totally socially inept, like just does not know how to have a normal conversation that's not like her actually. She's so transparent now. I feel like she's literally gathering information as she's asking anybody any question about anything. When she was asking Zach about so how's that work? Whatever. Just the way she was looking, I was like, her mind is like digitizing all of this right now. And like, so I know that Janet has it in her to come up with a few sentences that say, I'm not getting into it, but this is a slippery slope. Trust me or don't, and then we'd be like, we're not idiots, Janet. We would understand.
That's it. Great.
Like,
perfect.
So you don't need to tell us anything else, but like, I see this, I know where it can go. That's all I'm saying. But like, I'm never getting over this. Trust. Because that's what Lala would say.
And great. Love it. Brava.
Yeah. I don't need to hear any of the dirty details, but I need to get the vibe from you that something is bigger is happening, as opposed to just like breaking apart the definition of cuckolding. When that wasn't even, I don't even think that was the word in the thing that he liked. Like when it went back to that, I don't even think that word was in that thing, or like something was just so off about it. Like
this is a they're not fighting about him liking things. They're fighting about them saying, let it go. And her being like, cool, stop liking shit. Danny's out there, they're screaming, stop talking about it, let it go. She's like, cool. I don't know what she said, cool, but like in not so many words, I'll let it go when your husband stops liking shit on Instagram, when he stops bringing it up at boys' night. Stop bringing it up, and I'll stop bringing it up. Like that's the argument they're having. It's not, oh, you liked this thing about my husband. It was why are we still having this conversation? Well, because you're still having the conversation. Your husband's still doing shit. Danny is still out, and I've said this multiple times, Travis has said it. This dude pops off. He'll say a funny little Danny Disney jokey dad comment, but it's not that. It's okay. So you want to talk about this some more? You want to victimize? You want to be, oh, Danny's the victim again? Danny, you're your own victim, bro. You drink too much and you can't handle it, and then you're weird. Sorry, dude. That's on you.
I said this last episode. They're at a stalemate, and the reason it's not fun to watch the show right now, at least in my opinion, is because she doesn't want to let. I hear what you're saying about the reason I think it's a circular argument is because they don't want to be fully honest about what's going on with Danny, and she doesn't want to let the SA stuff go, and that's where this quagmire is locked. Because
but if you just look at those two things, like take everything we've seen, take the Janet, take the fact that we all hate Janet. If you're just telling me two stories, I'm like, okay, well, I'm sticking up for the lady who's not letting the fucking weird guy get off with doing weird shit. I'm not sticking up for the dude who's has a drinking problem that he won't admit to, or is hiding it or drinking. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm with the weirdo chick. Sorry.
But I think there's a middle ground in both of these areas. I think
what's the middle ground?
Because Melissa
the dude
is not
lying
saying
about this stuff.
I was SA.
But again, I'm not. This now, to me, like I said, this might not be a Melissa issue. This might be a greater issue for Janet than just Melissa. This shit happens all the time. You've explained multiple times how most of them you didn't fucking care about. You have multiple experiences. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the means, but I'm not into that kind of stuff. I'm not into like power over women or people, or like, it's not my kink. It's not my thing. So I don't have experience with grab assing and getting in trouble for it. I get in trouble for a lot of other shit, but not that kind of weird shit. Like, so I don't, but I know people who have, and I know dudes that are like just weird with chicks and are into that stuff. Danny's giving that dude the way he talks and the way he drinks and the way he cries about weird shit at the club. Like, Danny's a fucking weird dude, man. He's a weird dude, and he's lying about it.
But I guess where our disconnect is if Melissa is not saying this guy SA'd me, but someone else is taking license over your story and what happened to you, saying it was, in my opinion, it was an SA, but you're not the person that it happened to. I know people lose careers over accusations like this. Things that you've built worked your whole life for. Men, women, non-binary, it happens to everyone. An accusation that is not completely accurate can take somebody down. So I guess the reason they're so locked on, they're not saying you need to apologize for Danny's behavior. It's just, is this really SA? And you keep saying it is, and I will not say that. Melissa is not saying that it was. She's the victim in this case. And they don't want to be honest about what's going on with Danny at all. Danny does need to look at his drinking. Danny has weird quirks sober, as far as I'm concerned. I don't like how he speaks to Nia. I don't like how he speaks to her sober or drunk. Mm-hmm. I have issues with him in that regard. But I'm saying this is where the cluster is born.
Yeah, because you got three different issues. You have an SA or SA not. You've got the drinking, and then you've got the way that he talks to Nia. And they're all getting kind of like, I don't even know if like they're all fighting about all of this stuff throughout, but like no one's actually fighting about the same thing.
Yes.
But what's the one thing those three things have in common?
Listen, I think I am here for Nia.
Danny was the answer, for those of you paying attention. I'm here for Nia
if
too.
I'm starting to feel
really bad for
as
Nia.
a giant Danny fan, that I think if I have painted myself that way, if I have come out saying things that really like are saying Natalie is here to defend Danny until till the death, I have not communicated properly. I have gravely been a huge disappointment in the way that I've been doing this show, because I would like to think that I have been very clear that I just really like this woman and I really like Nia. And if Nia is okay with how things are going in her marriage, I'm not going to get involved in the way that he's talking to her because like, I want more for Nia. If Nia doesn't want more for herself, I don't know what to do with her. And I think that she's a genuinely good friend and a good person. And I think that she does the things that she projects, whereas Danny clearly doesn't. I don't think that Nia is a part of that. Like, I think that Nia is getting lumped in with Danny. And as she should, she's making her decision. This is the guy she's put the ring on with. And like, they're walking through this life forever and ever. Amen. And fine. But like, I am a Nia stan, not a Danny stan. I hope that clears anything up for
Is
anyone.
it kind of, because I hear what you're saying in the respect that I'm not a Danny fan either, but I really like Nia. And so I am trusting her to say, no, this works for me. I love this man. I'm okay here. So
And you guys don't think she's lying at all?
I don't.
You don't think she's just doing what she was taught or learned as a child, living in a car, getting out of that scenario, and just make it perfect. Nope, we're fine. We're good. That's Nia's. I love Nia. Full Nia stan. I'm amazing. That's her thing, though. That's her problem. That's her trauma, and she's talked about it. So we're going to sit here and be like, no, she does that with everything except her secretly alcoholic, possibly abusive, verbally up husband. That's the only thing that's...
But I've said, I think they're not being honest about what's going on there. But I still trust her to say, because Natalie said this to me once, and I think it's a very good thing for people to hear.
Did you just say they're not... You think that they're not, Danny and Nia, they are not being honest about what's going on?
Yeah.
But you trust them?
I trust Nia. So what I was going to say is that Natalie once had said, listen, nobody is perfect. Everyone has their shit. And so you just have to realize, is this stuff that you can deal with, or is this stuff that you can't deal with? Because everyone's going to have their bad qualities in work relationships, in love relationships, and friendships. So if my bad qualities aren't going to bankrupt you, then we can be friends.
Yeah.
And so I'm up until something could happen tomorrow that could make me change my mind. But right now, it seems to me like Nia is saying Danny's bad qualities aren't bankrupting me emotionally, physically, mentally. Like I still choose my choice, and this is still the person that I want to be with. That's just how it reads to me.
That's how
Well, it reads to you both that way, and myself and everyone else who's watched the show, because that's literally what she's saying. She's not insinuating it. She's not trying to hide it. That is what she's telling every single person. She's beating it down their throats. You're buying it? You're buying it? You think that she doesn't mind the way he talks to her?
No. I think she does mind the way. I just said everybody's got their shit, but you recognize I will deal with this shit. And I think for whatever reason that Nia understands and we don't, that she is okay with this and she feels that we're working on this in therapy. We have good communication. This is what I've gleaned from Nia.
Yeah. And like, I think that I think it would be helpful for, like, yes, I don't like Janet. She's rubbed me raw for time and after time after time after time. Like, I can't help that happened. That's what happened. She did that. I didn't set out to hate Janet at all. Season 1, I didn't at all. I didn't know her from the wall. I'd never even heard of her before. Like, I did not come in. I love a new character. All I want is new blood. All I want is new things to happen and for to see a brand new baby reality star like be born and like show us 10 seasons, give us 10 seasons of great TV. You know, it ain't cracking with her. Like it's not happening. So I don't like Janet. You don't like Danny. So like you're not seeing any of the things about Janet. And I'm, to your point, maybe not seeing everything about Danny. I like to think that I just don't care about so much with Danny because I just think that this girl that I love is a very strong bitch. And I see her talking and standing up for herself in every which way to everyone. So I don't see her as a weak person. She has chosen this person. Yes, I've said the thing about like, if this shit's not going to kill you, then like, it's like, that's where you get to at a certain age. I find that half of this cast is going to be singing a very different tune once they enter their 40s. There's just something different about it. It's the same thing I would say about Craig Conover. yeah, I get it. When you're young and you see this guy that's got these flaws and these traits, you're like, hell no, I would never deal with that. That is not a good, like, I would never let someone talk to me that way. Okay. Are you still single at this point? And like, or have you been in a shit relationship until this
I
point?
felt attacked. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I swear to God, I was totally joking. I don't feel attacked at all. I think I'm great and I love myself. It's okay.
I know. It's life experience where like you did spend 3 or 4 years with someone that you're like, this is not gonna work, to make you realize that like I can work with these things. I don't know how old Nia is. Danny's 42 or 43 or something. It just seems like their goals are aligned. Their family, like, I'm sure she would love it if he talked differently to her. I want her to enforce that. I really do. But I think that Nia is a person with an experience that I don't have, because she has 4 fucking children. I don't know what that's like. So it's like me saying, oh, kids, wait till you get older and you'll start seeing like what's really important and what's not. Gen Xers, they don't sweat the small stuff. That's kind of like, we've seen some big shit happen. So when little shit happens, we're like, I don't know. Like I still got to get up and keep it moving, get to work, get my coffee, keep it moving. You know, I feel like I think that a big thing about this show is the differences in ages. And I think that it's splitting people. And I think this is the circle of life. It's going to happen over and over again. Every generation that moves through, like some people are just going to get to a point where they're like, I don't know about this. And she doesn't know about my shit. And so I'm going to respect it. I don't know about how it is to live with a guy that you have 4 kids with. So she's got a different goal than I have. And I'm trusting her. I find her to be a trustworthy source and like what she can stomach and what she is not okay. So like, I hope that everybody can just step outside. And like these shows will show us a million things. They'll show you what you absolutely don't want. And that's one thing. But it also might show you after a certain amount of time that like you don't have all the answers, and neither does she. And she's working with what she's got, and I'm working with what I've got, and I don't want to be judged. I hope that, and I don't think she does either. And so I just, I don't know. It's a life experience thing. That's where I'm at with these two.
Should we pause now, move to part 2 so that we can get to the second scene in the episode? Since we haven't done that yet, and it's been an hour and 25 minutes.
Well, good thing we do deep dives. That's number one. Also, I just would like everyone to know that we didn't officially get out of the first scene, so maybe I can just usher us out of the first scene. So back at the table, Michelle says, everyone has a problem with Danny. And Nia said, like, that's not true. And she brings up Jesse's behavior in Santa Barbara, saying, you know, he was being inappropriate and rubbing himself all over Zach, and nobody talks about that. And that's where we ended that scene.
It's not a thing, Nia. Shut the up. That was the craziest thing she's ever said.
What?
Jesse drunk lap dancing on what's his name? What are we talking about?
This is, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I truly believe it is like how we talk about how like if a joke lands, it's the difference between everyone is laughing and they love you, to literally you're fired and canceled. Like there's a line, if it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I think that Jesse took a stab at, I'm cool with Zach. I'm cool with Jason. It's fine. I think that Danny thinks that he's a lot cooler with people than maybe a lot of people think that are cool with him. I think that Danny did exactly what Jesse did. Thank God for Jesse. It lands with Zach. Zach doesn't care. Jason doesn't care. Melissa was sitting right next to Zach, laughing at this thing that's happening. She's the person this happened to, right? Danny took a stab at like, I'm almost thinking he might think that he's like way tight with Jasmine, because honestly, they are still tight. We see it a million times.
Danny and Jasmine?
They are.
He was at their wedding.
He was at their wedding, and she's always chopping it up with him. I think that Jasmine on her own, probably with them, is like kind of probably more there. She's probably having guy talk with them, being like, "Oh, look at the ass on that." Like I could see. I'm not trying to just because she's a lesbian. I'm just saying. I feel that Jasmine is way more like she's a guy's guy. Like she's a
the
bro,
scene with
you
her,
know?
Jesse, and
Yes.
Zach. I loved. I was like, oh my God, yes. Like I
Yes.
see. This is Jasmine in her element. She was having such a great time with these people that are genuinely her friends.
Yes. So maybe, just maybe, and I don't know, and this is not me trying to figure out ways for Danny to be right. It's me trying to figure out how this happened, because I don't get the SA vibe from Danny. I get that Danny is a misogynist and he has a hard time knowing how to talk to his wife and handling his liquor.
I totally agree with
what
that.
I see from him. I don't get the vibe that he's out there playing grab ass with everyone, and you do, and I get that. And I always say I'm working off vibes here. I'm working off predictions. I'm working off. It's just a gut feeling. So I get that, but I think that these two things happened, and Zach's did not land because Danny's did not land because maybe he did it to Jasmine's. How old is Jasmine's wife? I'm
Don't
just
know.
curious. She doesn't maybe have that history with them. Maybe he's thinking, this is Jasmine. I'm doing this to Jasmine, but it's his, again, it's not okay, but I'm just trying to get into Danny's like psyche. Did he do that thinking that they were all bros here and that's funny and Jasmine would laugh at this on any other day? Did Melissa get home and be like, that was not cool what happened? And then is that what spurred Jasmine to be like, you're right, that isn't? Or in that moment was Jasmine pissed? Like, I don't, maybe they've told us that whole breakdown of the story. I don't know. All I know is that these two things were very fucking similar. And if you don't think that they were, then you got a bias because I watched them.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking right now. Is if Shane was here or if Kim and Chris were here and I got wasted and we were on a party bus and I was dancing on Shane and Chris, nobody would give a about it. If I, at that night later on or some other time, went up to a bar where Courtney was ordering a drink and grabbed her ass.
How? Get daddy a drink.
He said that to Jasmine. The Jasmine thing was get daddy a drink. We don't know how he grabbed. We just know that he grabbed her ass.
I thought he smacked it.
Fucking fine. If I walked up and smacked Courtney's ass, presumably wearing some sweet ass outfit at the club, or Chris's wife, Kit, like, bro. Those are two separate things, and we are having two separate conversations. We're not even having two separate conversations because we're not even having conversations about me drunk dancing on Chris and Shane, except, oh my God, I can't believe you danced on Chris and Shane. That was so funny.
That's interesting because Zach is a gay man and Jasmine is a lesbian. And we have talked about how their beef, I think in the beginning, was that you're doing things to me because you think it's fine because
you don't take my relationship seriously.
You don't take my relationship seriously, or you don't take my sexuality seriously, or you think that like it's not like that was a thing that we spoke ad nauseum about. So you could watch what he did to Zach by getting in his lap, putting his face in his lap, and his hands are like this. And Melissa's sitting right there and she's laughing at this. I'm not, which is fine. I would be laughing at it too. But like these, like you can't pick and choose. Like these are, if we're going to, what are the rules?
I think I would also, this is a very interesting, what?
Why is that funny?
What?
Do you not take gay men seriously? I won't put that in. But like, I'm curious like, why you think that is so off.
It doesn't matter. I can't even believe we're having this conversation. Honestly, I feel like I'm getting punked.
I just would be curious what would happen if we could get a little bit more communication from both sides.
Yeah.
Like if Nia and Danny could have a real conversation about his drinking and how because yes, Zach gets drunk and I live for Zach, but yells and screams and fulminates and all this stuff. Brittany gets drunk and goes after people. And, you know, I don't really know if Jasmine, I've never really seen her get so nuts drunk, comparatively speaking, I guess. Maybe if it was my dinner party, it would be considered nuts, but not amongst these kids. So if they got real honest about his drinking and there could be a real conversation about it. And then if Melissa could say, Janet, I would really appreciate it if you would stop calling it SA because it happened to me and I don't feel that that's what it was. And I want to dead and bury this.
Yeah.
And then what could arise from that? Because I'm so tired of beating this dead horse. And I love to beat a dead horse. Cremate it, glue it back together. Let's do it again. But we've done that so much here that I'm curious where we could get forward movement.
Yeah.
And I will say this. Listen, Danny might not grow at all. I do think there's room for me to see growth with Nia, or us to see growth with Nia. And I don't know if Janet would have any growth. I don't know if that, I think oddly enough, I think Danny and Janet maybe have maybe they have more in common than I think. And it's like, sometimes you get so irritated with someone because they're doing something that you don't like in yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, that's so true.
In regards to the growth and the everyone drinks, and Brittany drinks, and Zach drinks, and everybody drinks. Last year, 100%, everyone's drinking. It seems like this year, maybe, if not the producers, which, right, wasn't them. It seems like maybe these guys watched last season and were like, shit, we're fucking degenerates. Because Brittany hasn't really done any crazy stuff.
Because of her surgeries, she can't.
Fine, but the surgery was a couple episodes ago.
No, but she couldn't drink 2 weeks before and she couldn't drink after.
It's probably because of her kid, and it's probably because she was an absolute disaster last year, right? She was eating fish boils and chili the next day. I don't know if Brittany's worried about drinking before the surgery. Jesse was awful when he drank last year, and horrific to Michelle. He hasn't really gotten that drunk I don't think at all, right?
He has a new girlfriend.
Lacey.
So, but growth, she's making him grow. Brittany's clearly not drinking and trying to, be whatever.
Yeah, I'm out on that one. I'll go with you on Jesse. Brittany, I think that Brittany, don't schedule a surgery in the middle of shooting.
She said, she goes, I can't drink because of the surgery. She said it multiple times when they were in San Diego and all of that.
And
Right,
she
but
got
she's
hammered
drank-
before
but-
and was like sick the next day. I can't remember what
In
trip
this
they were
season?
on. Yes, and this season, I will go back and find it if you want some hard evidence.
I mean,
but,
listen,
like,
there's been a couple moments this season where they're like, "Ooh, the hangover's hitting. I ain't hitting
Yeah.
like they used to." But I don't remember any moments in this season where any of them have been drunk like they were last season, like full blown crazy town, abusive, blackout, nutter drunk.
I would say that Jasmine has gotten drunk to a point where
So-
it's causing problems within whoever. She's ruining parties.
So my thing with what I was going to say next, my thing with Jasmine is it seems like the times she's popped off has always been in defense of someone saying something, right? Or someone being like, "Oh, I'm really sorry you feel that way," while she's like,
Oh yeah, the party in the beginning of the
"Nobody's
season.
sorry that I feel the way, or that like this is f***ing crazy." Like Jasmine doesn't seem to be popping off out of nowhere like a Lala or a Brittany or whoever, Kristen. It's always it's a defense, right? Which I'm okay with.
of shit that by the time that they start talking about it, it seems like that didn't happen. Jasmine, he never said that. Jasmine, we weren't even talking about that. Like it, like the time, like the thing with Brandon, like
Yeah. Then nobody's grown, or only Jesse has grown.
yeah, and
from
I think
last year.
Jesse's just
Everybody
minding his
else
P's and
is-
Q's because it's how he keeps
Yeah.
Miss Richie.
But also, I do think part of them because it does take a minute to see change and know that like, oh, this isn't just a fad. You really are sticking with this, and this is who you are now. And I hope this is who Jesse is now. I like this version of him way better. Like it's been lovely to see, like I said in the beginning of this episode, where him and Michelle are at, and Lacey's been, I think, a great influence on him.
Yeah.
But I think because they have so much history with each other and they keep bringing up stuff from last year, they're also probably saying like, and you were like this last year, and the Jack stuff, and Brittany was always drunk or getting, like there was just, I think last year was so toxic, and I think they're all pulling from that pool for their examples. Like you all liked this comment, which happened last year. So I just think their references are dated for a few reasons. One, the pool is from last year with the essay stuff, and also we're seeing this so much later than when they actually filmed it. But we should get to part 2, which is going to be the whole episode.
We're just going to do a part for each scene.
That's
and there's
right.
27 scenes.
It's going to be like West Side Scandal, volume 10
Yeah.
of episode 14 for the
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
What we need
Is Pinkberry?
is a big man and some perimeter shooters now that LeBron's gone.
Okay, like, subscribe, hype, tell a friend, and we'll see you in part 2.
Yeah. Love you. Bye.